shot, forget it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? Welcome into Pregaming here at Sports Money, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. You know what we do here. We look at the line movement, cash flow analysis, injury updates, trends, angles, birthdays, best bets, the whole package to try to come out here and smash the bookies. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We got a fun Thursday night lined up. I hope you guys do join us live. You hear it a lot. We crushed the Cage Warriors, or we crushed the PFL, or we crushed this or that as we roll into Saturday. Well, tonight you get it. Tonight the combat squad is assembled. And we have some professional fighting league, the PFL, popping off here. They pop off around probably right around 7:45, and that's when we're going to pop off. We're going to get started at 7:45 to go through. They've got 8 fights on the card. If you haven't followed PFL, it's a little different than the UFC because it's tournament mode. Win to stay in, die on your shield. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about these fights that we have in store for you guys tonight. We also have a pretty meaty hockey card, a pretty decent NBA card. Maybe you heard of the little thing called the NIT. Some people think it stands for the Not In Tournament. Battling with the CBC, College Basketball Crown. But it's the championship game, and we've got action in this game as well. So we'll be watching, keeping our eyes glued to see if the Chattanooga Mocs can match up with that high-powered offense and smooth, silky defense that UC Irvine brings to the table. Like I said, the NBA's got a whole bunch of games popping off. They got a big banger at night there. The Lakers and Golden State. Potentially 1 point separates those two teams for playoff potential. That's going to be a big battle with Jimmy Buckets, Luka Doncic coming over to the squad. Big changes for those two teams. And I do have 2 baseball plays. Now, baseball slate's going to end early. So, I should say the baseball slate will start when we start. But I want to give you guys the plays now so that you have some time to get those in if you are going to tail. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun night. Going to have a whole bunch of the fellas rocking with us here. I can't wait for the live stream. And again, combat. You know the deal. We'll have YouTube. We'll have Kick rolling. We're going to start out with YouTube. Until Razor Soft Picks gets his button gear and can join us live. And yeah, that wasn't a slip of the tongue. Can't wait though. I'm excited. We do it best with the combat sports here. It looks like there's a lot of good opportunities out there too, pricing wise. Sometimes it can get a little chalky, but I think they left us some pretty good lines tonight. Hey man, we've been really busy in the lab. I hope you guys have had a chance to check out what's been going on behind the scenes here. Lots of good things happening here. Lots of golf action out there. We're flying. We're alive and everything. Keith Mitchell busted it up there and gets 8 under to finish off his round. Tommy Fleetwood was one of our first round leader guys here, 4 under, but he's in the game. He's in contention at 16-1. Our top 10s, our top 20s, everything's alive. Everything's alive in golf. We're looking good and healthy as we get ready for the last matchups before the majors. Then we've got 2 new volumes of the Sub Club. He's got soccer action for Saturday. I think it's around 12 or 12:30 start with Arsenal and Everton. He's got a Monday breakdown for you with Newcastle and them bums that shall remain nameless. We've got rugby action out there. You know, our guy Dan from Down Under takes the time to put that beautiful graphics package together, sends us the content. All you guys got to do is turn it on, hit the thumbs up button. We've got 2 different iterations of the UFC breakdowns for the upcoming weekend out there. They're back in the baby cage. That should mean maximum violence. It's been a run, and we've had, I think this is like 11 of 12 straight weeks of UFC on a Saturday. It's taxing. Takes its toll. 7-hour live streams take their toll. So we're getting close to a week off, but we still have plenty of action to go there as well. And you want to check that out. Now, the playbook is out there as well. So members only UFC playbook. Oh, medal levels, bronze, silver, and gold. Make sure you pay specific attention. There's one in particular that was added today. One play in particular. I think it's going to start coming down. One of the prevailing books in the world of combat sports has this price tag at plus 1,100, but still available at plus 2,200. So I believe as the headwinds will blow, that 2,200 will drop down to 1,100. So, it's a sprinkle play. I dropped $50 on it. I thought, take advantage of it now. See if it does move by the time we get to game day. But that's in the playbook. Lots of spots out there. We're going to continue to build and add to that thing. But we've got a breakdown on every single fight now. So there's something going on for every single fight to help you guys get ready for the UFC card. It's busy. We've been busy. Oh, so busy. We're going to have some NASCAR again. MMA Jeff came out there with the big Denny Hamlin win last week. We'll get some more of that out there for you guys. And away we go. Yeah. Takes time to put all that stuff together. And all we ask you guys to do in return is smash that thumbs up button and comment. Shout out to Kelly V. She is the queen of the comments here with Sports Money. 2-1 over the next closest person in comments on our channel. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to catch up. She's just committed. She's diligent. She always takes the time to hit the thumbs up button and smash a comment out there for us as well. Speaking of comments and smashing the thumbs up button, now seems like a pretty fine time to get after it. Again, we're going to pop off at 7:45, so we want to get up and out of here, give you guys some time to get these bets, maybe get a little something to eat, get your cocktails ready, and then get back here so that we can make some money tonight. That's what we're going to do here. It's obviously the Thursday night live bets are so money. Man, we've had a couple this week here. We had an impromptu Sunday. Made some cash there. We had an impromptu Wednesday with some soccer action in the afternoon. Afternoon baseball, made some cash there. Why not do it again tonight? Why not get it rolled up and smoke it? I got to be careful of that because that gets me, that puts me in the hurt locker. But again, you guys, we are viewer supported. The most important thing you can do to help us is take the time to smash the thumbs up button and comment. So, we'll keep doing it. And if we start seeing some of the videos, lag off or slack off, then we'll just drop them. If you guys don't want them, we don't want to take the time to put them together. It takes too much time. All this editing and updating and graphics and then uploading to YouTube and then getting the tweets out there to let everybody know. But the most important thing, as I mentioned, is the thumbs up. So for this show, if you could kindly close the comments, smash the thumbs up, then pop the comments back up, we'll get this thing rolling. How'd that be? That sounds just fine to me. All right, special announcement. I did say this the other day. I'll mention it again tonight on the live stream. I'm going to put a tweet out there at the end of tonight's live stream. At the end of tonight's live stream, it'll be over on Sports Money Wins. I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. Like, repost, and then add a comment with predictions on who's going to win the March Madness games on Saturday. At the end of the Saturday stream, it's duck race time. Duck race time for those that qualify. Got some merch to give away and excited to do it. So stay tuned. Giveaway. Just want to give you guys more action. Want to give you guys more content. Want to give you guys more winning plays. Want to give you guys, it's not quite, I don't think it's quite hoodie season anymore, but Ramon did look sharp. He looked fly this morning in the hoodie, didn't he? Did he look good in that hoodie? Sports Money hoodie. Shout out to Ramon Scott and the Morning Steam. Let's go. We got a lot of plays out there, a lot of stuff to get to. So let's get to the getting. I'll tell you right off the gate, too. I have an inkling here. I know the situation. Teams as big favorites against the Bruins win, and they win a lot. I'm inclined to take the Bruins. I'm inclined. It's not an official play, just an estimation. Man, speaking of official plays, can the Rockies just eat a full bowl of shit? I mean, really. Rocky Road style shit. Man, they had that. I mean, it's the worst case scenario. They score in the bottom of the fifth, the Phillies, to go up 1-0. Then they get 2 more runs in the 7th and 8th to go up 3-0. 3-1 in the 9th, bases loaded, full count, strike it. Lose by 2. Okay. It's enough. It's enough of where we've been. Let's talk about where we're going. And we're going to go to Jover to pop us off here. He's protecting his record. We'll call him out for it. Jover should be around here this evening. He's got a big vacay coming up, but he says no best bet. He's got 4-0 since he's brought it back. Joe W's in the house. Old E's up there. Says smash the like. Most important thing you can do. Old E says spins up. Marlins team total overs are printing. Call the ink company. Here's our guy, Gerald Jones. He's been on fire. Since the start of March, this man has been printing and printing. And he's giving it to you guys here for free. All you got to do is give him a shout out. Why the hell not? 30-18. And he likes the Stars on the puck line tonight. Well, Dallas-Nashville battle. We'll be talking about that game. And my man, reining in at 30-18, putting that impressive record on the line, looking to get the Dallas -1.5. Bo Jackson's here, Robert McCormick, Nicholas Handy, Fernando Mendoza. There's our guy, Justin McKelvey, says sports money is money. Goddamn right it is. You're damn right. Let's go. Peter Gracia, Nasty Nick says, how about them Red Sox? They smashed. The Red Sox smashed. They sure did. Hard to figure out what's going on with Baltimore. Today, I think, was the player back in the lineup situation. Yeah, they smashed. They did smash. Stop to you in here. Says good luck tonight from Sports Money. Thank you for the show and picks always, brother. Thank you, Stop Geo Engineer. Says America. Fuck yeah, I'll say it. 9 legacies in the house. He likes Irvine -3.5. The Lakers -1.5, and he likes the Senators Moneyline. There's a guy, Razor Sharp Picks. So shout out to everyone. What's up, fellas? Razor Sharp came in and gave us a winner last night. I tell you guys, man, best damn chat in the business. And look at this guy. Gives you guys the under last night. Under, and it cashes. Easy casher for Razor Sharp Picks. You know it's going to be shot time tonight, so get yourselves ready. Peter Grosky says, hit the button. Nine Legacy says, let's get that paid in full parlay, baby. You know, we'll have a nice panel to work around with tonight to talk about a paid in full parlay. Here's Proven Winner. What's up, Proven Winner? It's good to see you, my friend. Thank you for popping in here. He says, top bets in Cincinnati college basketball. I rather like Cincinnati, too. I really do. I was looking at that game. One of my friends is pretty dialed into college basketball, and he was looking at UCF, but I don't know, man. I just kind of play like, I can't believe they're in the point that they're at. I guess I'll leave it at that. I like Cincinnati, too. I don't know if maybe I'm biased. I don't know. Why would I be biased? I don't know. I like Cincinnati. Getting some juice coming in on Cincinnati as well. Why the heck not? Let's go. Bill the Kills here. Will the Blue Jackets keep paying my rent? I say yes. We'll talk about that game. Lots of people looking at the over in that one. Peter Grossi says Ramona's OG. Nasty Nate thinks the Bruins smash. Proven Winner says sweeping today. I could use a fucking sweep today, man. I could. I'll tell you what. I parlayed every single one of my plays together, too. For big money. Irish Kings in the house. Big Scott says, let's go PFL tonight. Time to get paid. Look at this. There's some PFL looks. We love fighting. We love combat sports. I don't want to fight anymore. Certainly don't want to get punched in the face, but I'll bet on other dudes punching dudes in the face. And we're rather good at it. So let's go. Big Scott knows what's up. We'll get this money tonight. I hope you check that playbook out. I said that 2,200 isn't going to be there by Saturday. I'm fairly confident of it. And I would give it at least a 35% chance at 2,200. Now, there's other plays that will buffer around that thing. And I know you might be saying, well, 35%, it's 2,200. It's a big bomb for a reason. But I think there's only one of two outcomes. And there's two players. And I think this one skews a little bit based on fighting styles. So instead of it being a 25% chance, I actually give it 38% chance. And we're seeing the headwinds. The headwinds are shrinking this number. So it's important that we get involved with that. Thank you, Big Scott, for your action, my friend. We'll see you tonight. Philly Kelsey's base is loaded and the Rockies couldn't. Yeah, man. Yeah. Fernando Mendoza's been smoking on the Phillies, Pat. It's funny the way it goes, isn't it? The Phillies are crushing it. The Eagles win the Super Bowl, and then there's the Sixers and the Flyers, and they stink. That's okay for me. I mean, Sixers rank at the bottom of my list of Philly teams, but they're still one of my teams. I've told you guys this story before. Lovely ticket sales, corporate ticket sales, friend of mine. Anyhow, Gerald Jones, bracket has Florida 74, Houston 68. For the chip, also have futures on Houston 7-1, Florida 5-1, and Auburn 8-1. My man, let's go. Irish King says I cashed Philly -1.5, easy and over 9.5 in that Baltimore game. Gerald Jones says no Duke futures. Big Scott, get to the Sports Money membership. Blessing our action. I always love to get things started with the gifted membership, and my friend Big Scott 510 is bringing it to the table for us today. And if you guys got a gifted membership, think about giving one back. Think about upgrading silver and gold levels. We appreciate that, Big Scott, man. Cheers to you. You know, this we rehydrate and then we dehydrate. So we will do that. Trevor Davis is up in this piece. What's up, Trevor Davis? Says, how about the Lakers game to go over? Jay Main in the house. Gerald Jones says, bought OG ride Monday. Ford Escape, old used ride. Let's go. Let's go. The Ford Escape, baby. I was rocking around the little Ford Ranger for a minute. You know, it's an interesting spot. I read some numbers today. I see you guys talking about this Saturday game here. And how about this? We've got what? Bunch of number ones and a number two in there. Is that am I reading it right? Anyhow, when two number ones play, they go over. Overs tend to be the numbers here. Probably see a bunch of overs. Shout out to Goldie up in the house, gifting a Sports Money membership. My man. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much. That means a ton to me to see you guys hanging with us. Ride or die, baby. Ride or die. We can't stop. We won't stop. And Oldie keeping us ticking like a fine clock, my friend. Appreciate you. Both you guys, man. Thank you, Oldie. Big Scott. Let's get to work. Huh? Kelly V. We're already working. I love seeing what you guys are on. And then I talk with the fellas about it when we connect backstage if we're doing recordings. And hey, so-and-so is on this. So-and-so talked about that. We love it. Love to see we're all working together. We all have the same goal. Common scoreboard. That scoreboard is taking the wallet out of the bookie's pocket, putting our paws on that cash and sliding it into our wallets. That's what we're here to do. And Kelly V's giving us Dallas -1.5, I believe is what that hash means. Montreal -1 is, I think, just a straight Montreal. Calgary -155 money line. Montreal guys, 2 points. Schofield and Hudson plus money. Ted B, Big Mike, fun parlay. Diamondbacks first 5. Give me the over. Diamondbacks team total and the Yankees winning at the end. I kind of see it the same way. Jerry Jones up in this piece. Says Duke got the better shooters. There's going to be some great games. You know, I was down on the tournament just because I think that they skewed the brackets. You know, this rule about how often teams could play each other. And basically all they did is they filled teams in around. There was a lot of commissioner effery, I'll say, I think, with this year's tournament bracket. And so the dogs were kind of, you know, it wasn't organic. Wasn't organic. That's why we didn't see NIL is also a contributing factor, but that's why we didn't see a lot of, Cinderellas and upsets. But now that we're down to the Final Four, I'm glad we have some good games. I'm pretty excited about that. Ooh. Just got my March bill in. What did I spend all that money on in March? I didn't even do anything in March, did I? Did I go anywhere? I didn't even go anywhere in March. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess we got to make some money. Because, I forgot about that night. Kelly D says teams quit. Boston, Nashville, Duchesne point bin money. Mika Rantanen in Dallas is 2 points away from number 700. And Leon Draisaitl, anytime goal, number 400. Joe T. Final Four polls are out. Posted on the post tab and the YouTube channel. Bob.com. I love it. You guys are fired up, man. You get me fired up. I was fired up to PFL. I was trying to get you guys fired up. Now you're fired up, and it's getting me fired up. Let's fire up this car. Let's get through this thing, huh? You guys get me all jacked up about PFL. Been talking with the fellas about combat since fucking Sunday. You know I'm ready to go. You know it's go time for us here. Let's pop this card off. Let's talk about Colorado and Columbus. Now look, I told you guys some of my opinions on some of these games. We'll pull up the old goalie dashboard here. The one thing we can't now I know I talked about this is the final push of the season. Let's just start there. I talked about after game 60, the young teams. We still have contract incentives on the table for the teams that do have some veterans. And we have the benefit of wanting to play spoiler as well. The Bruins and the Canadiens is a big series. It's a big opportunity for these two teams. And, Montreal tends to smack them in the face. That being said, I don't like Boston. I'm sorry, Nasty Nate. You know I don't. We've talked about it in person. But if anything, wouldn't you want to go out? Now, look, the Canadiens have won 4 of the last 5 home games against the Eastern Conference. There's no doubt about it. They've covered the puck line in 3 straight at home against divisional opponents. I mean, you got to play Montreal minus 1.5 at plus 130 or Boston at plus 182. I would look to your cousin from Boston. It's by Sam Adams. Knockoff. I'm going to have to work on it. I'm going to have to work on that one. Then we're looking at Tampa Bay and Ottawa. Look, I gave you some numbers there too. Senators against the Lightning on the puck line. 5 games would generate a profit. So it's been a tight series, but the puck line for the Senators has prevailed. The Senators have won 4 of the last 5 games at home against the East as well. There's a little info for you guys if you're looking for some trends or some not some of the comprehensive trends, just some of the basic stuff, right? Just some of that basic blah. But it is what it is. Each of the last 3 matchups between these two teams in Tampa and Ottawa have all gone over. So they're 3 for 3 to the over between these guys here. I'll tell you this. I did get the sharp betting report today, just on the lines of over. Let me pull it up real quick. Where'd it go? Unders in pretty much every game. No overs. Ottawa, Boston, Colorado, Dallas, all unders, all respected. Oh, and of course, the number 1 respected betting report came through with the Vegas Winnipeg. Just so you know, sharps are all betting unders. That being said, I'm looking at this Colorado and Columbus battle. Now, the Avalanche, as a puck line favorite this season, you're thinking you're going to beat the juice, you're wrong. You take and we just saw pretty much the deciding factor was the other day. I guess it was 2 games ago where they didn't get it done. Minus 1.5. Now, impressive, but wasted effort in my estimation is what they did against that Chicago Blackhawks team. Last game they played, they were down 2-0 the whole damn game. I thought it was over. I thought Chicago rinsed them. I couldn't believe it. And then I look back and I'm like, they're in overtime? Really? And, they score and they win and they move on. They get a point against that Chicago Blackhawks team. That's why I was talking about these teams that, they might be young and they might be dumb, but they're big notch on the belt for the Chicago Blackhawks to finish the season off, taking down a potential Stanley Cup Finals matchup here. I told you guys, I think Colorado and Tampa meet together head to head. I'll speculate. No one just wants to hear boring numbers. They want some speculation behind it, and I speculate I can only be right or wrong. Got two options. Mackenzie Blackwood will go out there to start for the Colorado Avalanche. Elvis Merzlikins for the Columbus Blue Jackets, who I mentioned before, still eligible for a wild card spot in the East. There's a reason I try to pick on some of these games. I don't want to pick some, like I said, I like Boston. Your cousin from Boston. There's not, Boston could very easily roll over and just puke their nuts up in that game. But we do have Colorado on the back end after that Chicago game, and it was an overtime spot. We'll talk about that tired impact and effect here in a moment. Blackwood did have a good start, 25 of 27 saves his last game against the Blues. It was a loss. St. Louis has been red hot. By the way, St. Louis, in terms of being red hot, 17 games in a row when their price is a decent-sized favorite. It's impressive. They won 16 of their last 19, 10 of them by 2 or more goals. St. Louis is busting teams in the mouth. But that's for another story. Just kind of talking, trying to touch all of these NHL games as we look at this thing. But Columbus, 3 of their last 4, they're 3-1. They'll go to their starter in Merzlikins. They're going to do something about their defense. Werenski's not enough. 2.45 goals against average for Blackwood, 3.11 goals against average for Merzlikins, 91.5% save percentage for Blackwood, 89.4% for Merzlikins. He has been kind of playing like shit lately. He's allowed 13 goals on 98 shots in his last 3 games. That's where I said they need some defense, man. You can't just put your goalie out there to ride or die. You got to get somebody in front of him. However, they're still winning because they're scoring. Talked about it all year. Columbus, especially Columbus at home, an over venue. We know Carolina's an under venue. We know Colorado or Columbus being, it's a lot of C's in there. Columbus being an over venue here. And I mentioned that shootout game. So, at the end of the day for me, this is a spot where I'm going to go dogging. I just think this is a situation where we've got a rested team versus the opponent on the back-to-back. It's 156 and 94. It's 7-3 in its last 10. It's won 5 in a row. And it's a pretty nice price point to get involved with this game. For what it's worth, and I mentioned these overs with these squads here. If you look at this here from a Columbus perspective, and you want to put some validation behind it, Columbus at home, their overs are 23 and 12. It's crazy. The average total score in Avalanche games against the Blue Jackets this year, the average total, 10. It's crazy. It's double digits. I don't know how that comes into play, but you probably should see some firepower. It does concern me just a little bit that the respected betting action did look at this under. Let me just double check and make sure that's true. Yep. Under 6.5 was a little reverse line movement action in there. I don't know. I'm just going to jump in with the plus 125. I'm going to take a little speed bus. Pop this card off. Philly Kills talking about being a little nervous. A little nervous out there. Yeah, I mean, has it moved? I guess I should. It's moved a little. It's moved a little bit. Colorado was minus 155 for the original opening line. It's down to minus 137. Here's you want some validation in the respective betting report. Number one side that they're on. Surprise, surprise. The Blue Jackets. You want to correlate this? See that I'm not totally full of shit. How about this? Look at, I'm pretty full of shit. Let's not stop there. Let me not sell my shelf short here. But 83% of the bets came in on the Colorado Avalanche. Public looks at it, and just like that Toronto game last night, they're like, oh, Florida's the better team. Oh, Colorado's the better. What happened to you fuckers that thought Florida was the better team? Not you guys, with all due respect. I'm speaking generally and candidly. They took an L is what they took. On the other side of things here with Colorado, 83% of the bets are on Colorado, but 59% of the cash is coming in on Columbus. And we had the line move from plus 130 to plus 125. The biggest differential on the card across the entire sport this game. By the way, a close second is the puck line for Vegas. That's what the Sharp Perspective Betting Report does. That's why I reference it. I think it's a good tool that we've got in our back pocket, especially for some of these sports like WNBA and the NHL. You'll see that the Sharp Perspective action is pretty dialed in and accurate. So we're going to pop off with that game right there. We're going to take a dog spot. We'll move on to the Predators and the Dallas Stars. And UC Saros, Jake Ottinger. Look, this doesn't have to be anything more. I mean, neither one of these goalies was confirmed. Let me refresh this just to check. Let me check and see. Nashville's done. They're done. You know how I know they're done? We talked about it the other day. Stamkos had an opportunity to score against the Flyers and tie it up, and they said, fuck it. He just backed off, which is kind of not a good look, you know? Across the NHL, it's just not a good look. Can't have star players just backing off. I mean, they're, tankathon's real. And so Nashville's toast. Dallas coming in here. Yeah. Dallas should pop these dudes right in the mouth. There's no question about it. I like the puck line as much as the next guy here. But the thing for me is Dallas's defense is playing. I guess they kind of complement each other. Dallas's defense, this is where we talk about what's Columbus needs, some defense. Dallas is 1.28 goals per 60 minutes and 5-on-5. That's number 2 in the league in defense. They're already a defensive team, and they're known for their defense, and they're showing it by validating being number 2 in the league, regular strength. Now, that's special teams aside. But you got to ask yourself, how much heart does a team have that's laying off anyways? Are they going to go spear you in the face and take a 5-minute penalty that's going to give you a power play shot? Probably not. And they're not likely to block goals either. So I can get the puck line. I understand that. It's minus 105s, predominantly available across the board. Problem I have is that, like I said, Predators just, 1.67 goals allowed or scored, on average. That's third worst in the league. So you got the second best defense against the third lowest. There's 2 plays I like in this game here. I took the under 6.5. I think that's a reasonable spot to get involved with here, especially with Ottinger going. Maybe parlay it with the Nashville team total under. I mean, shit, you could probably take the under. I bet you could get an adjusted under 1.5. I kind of like an exact score of 4-1. Don't ask me why. I just kind of saw it. I just kind of had this. I don't know what you want to call it. It's not really an epiphany. Just that Nashville will be lucky to score. And I do suspect that, Dallas goes out there. I don't want to, Dallas to win by a shootout is plus 600. I don't think that's an unreasonable look. Team total under for Nashville, under 1.5 is plus 210. I think that's another look. And just overall, based on some of these numbers here, 4-1's 12-1. I think that's another look as well. Straightforward. Real shooter with you guys here, but I did take the under 6.5. It's a good spot there. Gerald Jones says Nashville 3 games and 4 nights. Yeah, Nashville's toast. Kelly D says Memphis 3-19 against the spread is terrible. We're going to keep that in mind when we talk about the NBA. All right, last game I got for you guys here in the NHL. But again, I'm on the under 6.5 for Dallas game here. I think all those are good looks. I wrote them down. We'll keep our eyes on them for live betting. 4-1 was plus 1,200. And what I say the shutout was plus 600, I think. I'll write all those down, so we'll keep our eyes on those. I might circle back here before we go live and poke a couple more of those. Last game we're going to talk about here is the Anaheim and Calgary game. So when I was putting this lineup together and I was looking at this thing, I was really surprised. As bad as Anaheim is, they're only 2 games off the winning pace of Calgary. Now, the thing about Calgary is they've gotten 12 overtime losses. My assessment, if you ask me blindly without now knowing what the trends are, if you would ask me blindly, or stats are, if you would ask me blindly which of these teams was the better team, I'd say by far and away it's Calgary. But realistically, when you look at these records, it's really not that far off. And we know that one of the number one teams on the puck line are the Anaheim Ducks. If you bet the puck line blindly, every single game this season, you're up 19.1 units on the Anaheim Ducks. It's impressive. They have lost 4 of their last 5 against teams that have shitty records. But that's not the case here against the Flames. Flames' last 4 home games have gone over because, well, they're not playing defense either. And I think therein lies the challenge for this game here. I'm going to go big game hunting. I told you guys here, John Gibson, Dustin Wolf, expected starters between these two. And here's the thing of why I think Anaheim's got a shot in this game. We talk about the young teams wanting to go out there and play spoiler to some degree with the last 10 games in the season. They want to get a notch in their belt. Calgary's 7 points behind for that last wildcard spot. Man, it was just a week ago that they were like, if they had won and was it Seattle had lost, Calgary moved into that spot and was cruise control. And they both ended up losing. So, here we go a week later, 7 points behind. But the difference is they don't really need this game. They should want this game. It should be an easy W to pick up, but now you're playing the number one puck line team in the NHL. And why I say they don't need this one is because they have 2 games in hand. So they still have more latitude. They still have more runway than any other team that's out there. So they could afford to fuck this one up, and Anaheim could want to come in here and sneak that little notch in their belts. And of course, look, Dustin Wolf's a rookie. He's at that point where he's running deep into the season. He's played 46 games on the season. He's 24-16-6. And he's starting to show the tread wearing on the tires. He was a Calder Trophy option. He's now 3.32 goals against average and an 88% save percentage over an 8-game stretch. 2-4-2 are what the Flames do in that game out there. And if you want to talk about teams not quitting, the Anaheim Ducks are 3-1 in their last 4. It's good enough for me to take a shot. Plus 135. I don't think there's enough difference between these two teams to validate Calgary Flames just be an auto buy. I don't. So I'll take the plus 135. Smoke and mirrors in the house. Phil the Kill says, absolute balls of steel if someone bet the Ducks on the puck line all year. But it paid out. Yeah. You know what's probably the case, though, Phil the Kill? What if you won like 4 or 5 in a row? Then you get to the point where you're like, fuck it. I'm just going to keep playing it. And you're up. That's why I always think it's ridiculous when people are like, I'm going to track this all year. You don't need to track it. You could just easily drop it down from a spreadsheet, have it right in front of you. Unless you're looking for Twitter content. All right, let's move into the NBA. Let's pick up some pace here. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm off. Let's talk about the NIT. Let's talk about the championship game. Now, this starts at 9 p.m. Other thoughts, by the way. I told you guys the under has caught some steam on the respected betting report for the Vegas and Winnipeg game. Kind of makes sense. They're going to Comrie. It should be a bounce back spot for Vegas. I do like Vegas in regulation. It's even money. You know what we talked, though, when Vegas does win, they cover the puck line. That's still an 18-0 trend. And, Vegas minus 1.5 is plus 182. So keep that in mind as you're looking to consider those games. We'll talk to the fellas about that one tonight. And the Oilers and the Sharks. Oilers just came off that beatdown. Well, not beatdown, but a surprise beating of the Vegas Golden Knights. The Sharks look absolutely pathetic. But the only way I would think that you could play the Oilers is you got to take them like minus 2.5. No thanks. And, the under, for what it's worth, the Sharks did try right to the end of that game against the Ducks the other night. Goes to overtime and they lose 4-3. So just some thoughts, some high-level thoughts on the rest of these games. And then the Kings in Utah. I like the under. I never used to be an under bettor, by the way. I'm laughing because I like the under. The Kings at home, when it's a 5.5, end up with like a 4-2 win. But when they go on the road, they're not great. You look at the Kings' record on the season, like all their wins came at home. Almost none of their losses, like literally like 3 or 4 losses or something like that. All their losses come on the road. And technically, Utah's still fighting for a playoff spot. So That game's got a little, I don't know. It's got a little stuff connected to it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean by stuff? It's got a little extra shit connected to it that I just don't want to have to sift through and try to navigate, I guess is what I mean by stuff, right? You got a bad team. I wouldn't be surprised if Utah. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I don't want to put my money on it. I wouldn't be surprised either way situation. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston wins. I wouldn't be surprised if Ottawa wins. I wouldn't be surprised if the Flyers find out a way to do something stupid tonight and they're not even playing. But I'm not going to put my money on it. Chattanooga, UC Irvine, the NIT Championship pops off at 9 p.m. Hinckley Fieldhouse going loud tonight. 61% of the bets, only 48% of the cash coming in on the mocks. Isn't a mock a snake? Isn't that a water snake? Moccasin? Isn't that what it is? Anyhow, does create a sharp, well, it's not sharp respected betting, but it's a sharp edge, if you will. Bigger bets coming in, and here we go. Just now as I'm saying it. Bigger bets were coming in on Irvine. The line just moved, 3.5 to 3s. The headwinds, the prevailing winds, you guys, these are what I talk about. I did listen to a bookmaker talk earlier today about how they're getting popped for Chattanooga. This total's gone from 146.5 to 145. And you have 95% of the bets and 92% of the cash on the over. Got to hand it to them. The mocks have been dogs the entire way. They had a little snafu. Found themselves on the losing end of their conference tournament. Could have packed it in. Instead, they've just gone on as a dog. And they lost to Furman in the Southern Conference tournament. There you go. They don't go to the NCAA tournament, but they said, you know what? Let's keep going. Let's see what we can do. And all they've done is win. All we do is win. Middle Tennessee, battle 109-103. Dayton, 8-10. Front runners, somewhat. 87-72. Bradley, sneak out there, 67-65. And then they take down another 8-10 team. Loyola, Illinois, 80-73. My thought process, I value the 8-10 higher than I value the conference that UC Irvine plays. And so if you're busting up 8-10 teams, you know kind of where I'm leaning in this thing. Problem is, UC Irvine, they got a ton of defense. Their defense is ridiculous, right? They're ranked 11th overall. They hold opponents to 39.6%, which means that they keep opponents to 66 points a game. They can also run tempo. Two things going on for me with North Texas as I look at this game. North Texas, as I look at UC Irvine. The first is they've never had 32 wins in the entire school's history in college basketball. And for that matter, I don't track swimming, but I'm pretty sure that they probably haven't had 32 wins in anything in college sports. So you got that kind of strike against them. Now, some people would say that's an advantage. Okay, I don't. I think that you exceeded expectations. On top of that, they played a team in North Texas where North Texas came out to I thought they were a pretty decent lead. 69-67, they beat that team. North Texas is a defensive-oriented juggernaut. They physical game, getting in your face, throwing you offside, and I think there was a lot of effort required to go out there and beat that North Texas team. So I think you got a situation where you're kind of running on one cylinder. Devin Tillis, 16.5 points a game and 9.5 rebounds. The guy's a double-double, and you're playing defense. I don't want to say they're a one-trick pony, but if you look at these players side by side on these teams overall, you don't have enough of an advantage, in my opinion, to warrant the 3.5 points. Do we have a live dog? I know Ramon doesn't like when I say it, but is the wrong team favored? I can see this situation where the mocks have done nothing but upset and surprise, and the books just took a hit. It went from 3.5 to 3s. Peter Grassi says, have you noticed DraftKings doesn't list all of the CBB? It depends on the state you're in, Peter. Some they do and some they don't. So the other day for the CBC, which I think has a future. Yeah, they got the better teams this year in the NIT, but you're in the not in tournament. Does that matter? Or do you want to go roll down to Vegas for a week and try to play for $500,000 in NIL bucks? It's like the playing tournament in the so state by state. It's funny because I always talk to Subhuman about some of the spots that he can bet that I can't bet with DraftKings and FanDuel, and it's just state specific. Like, some states you can't bet the coin toss. I can't bet. I do like to bet the coin toss. I'm a degenerate. But UCF, Cincinnati, Chattanooga, UC Irvine, Villanova, USC are all available for me in New York. The other day it wasn't because the CBC fucked up their state filing with some of the commissions and they got shut down for about a half a day. But they've come back and they're rolling. And I'm taking the moccasins here. Again, all the reasons I mentioned. Now, the thing I don't like, I'm a little less than excited about the defense that we see from Chattanooga. But I like when these teams got that dog in them, man. And that's like, that's something it's hard to quantify what that dog means to them here. The Mocs suck at rebounding. They're 284th. They're bottom third of all of college basketball. And you see a team in, Irvine that averages almost 35 rebounds a game, which is top 18% of college basketball. They're ranked 43rd. So there's a little bit of an issue there. But I think they can get Tillis off guard. I think that physicality drew down some. I think they're going to be tired. I think this UC Irvine team comes in tired. And, is it foolish to say for a big game both teams should be tired? They should. But I got 3.5 points in my back pocket, and I like a little plus 142 on top of that here. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll see what happens. I'm going to jump in with the Chattanooga Mocs here. Thank goodness. Woo-wee. I didn't want to say what I was sweating because that hasn't worked out for me very well, but the under 7.5 for the Astros and Minnesota Twins just cashed for a fucking big, big score. I was talking to Sub when we were shooting that soccer stuff today. I said, by the way, I might have a nickel on this. So it was big because they were like 2-2 in the first or second inning. So anyhow, that was a big one. That was a big one. Whew. That was a real big one. All right, let me regain my focus and my composure here. I try to give you guys as much as I can see behind the numbers, but again, I'm not just going to read off the stats for you guys. I'm going to tell you kind of what I think's happening. What the stats, how do I connect the dots, right? We can all see the stats, but what do the stats mean? And yeah, do we see UC Irvine blow these guys out the gym? Sure. I mean, theoretically, with their offense, they should. But it's a neutral site for both teams. And if you're the Mocs and you got knocked off from the NCAA tournament and you're sitting here and the potential to win, I mean, this is probably the biggest win in the Chattanooga's school history. And he just had UC Irvine that got the most wins in their school history. So it's a meaningful game. It's a big game. Normally the NIT shit anyways, but I think it's a good spot for Chattanooga. I like the stat. I'll take the 3.5 points. We'll move on. We'll move up. We'll move into some NBA. The NBA has been The NBA has been what I would consider to be the bar rag you use to wipe up all the spills all night. And then you got this musty, stinky fucking rag that all you do is throw it in the garbage. That's what I think of the NBA. For a lot of reasons. But a lot of you guys love the NBA. So I'll look at it. I'll study some numbers. I'll look at some trends. We'll see if we can't figure this thing out together. I'm looking at the Bucks and the Sixers game to pop this thing off. I'll tell you right off the gate, the sharp respected action has been banging away on the over in this Bucks and Sixers game. We just saw that Giannis, right before the show popped off here, Giannis is in. He's ready. Overnight, I bet a little Giannis to get 25 points or more and the Bucks to get the win, and it was plus 122. Fucking things like minus 350 now. Talk about some CLV. Giannis is averaging 30.4 points a game. He's got 28 or more in 6 straight matchups, and they juiced his 25 plus. Sixers allow a shitload of points, 115.7 a game. They're bad. They're brutal. We know it. But they've been winning some ugly games. Now they had an ugly game the other day that they didn't get on the right side of here. But this line opened at 11.5 with 71% of the bets and 74% of the cash. It hasn't moved. Total started at 225.5. I told you it's been getting steamed. It went to 86% of the bets and 87% of the cash on the over. It's gone to the over. It has gone over 2.5 points from the original number. And I guess I can see why. You know, the problem with the Sixers here is you don't really know what you're going to see. Over, under. They played against the Knicks in the Garden 2 nights ago. They lost 105-91. Their losses they're losing a lot, clearly. They're not covering the spread either, which is sickening. 13.5 the other night. They lose by 14. Like, that's the NBA right now, right? That's what's going on. But they're struggling to get to 100 points. However, against, two shit teams in the Wizards and the Toronto Raptors, they got 109 and 114. Bucks are running right now. 4 straight overs. They're not really playing defense. They're just going out there trying to outscore their opponents. You look at that Atlanta game, man. 145-124. They lost. No defense. They beat the follow-up game against the Suns. 3 straight home games. They're going on the road to Philadelphia tonight. I'm going to take the over. I'm not going to get too cute. If it's good enough for the Sharps, and I see the money's correlated, I got 228.5. I'm pretty sure. I got 228.5 at like minus 105. Yep. And that's 228.5 at minus 110s. So there is a little bit more money even after the early Steam report came through showing that the Sharp report came. I don't want to steal Ramon's thunder. Excuse me. The Sharp report came through and was banging away on this thing. So I think another game that has some sharp action coming in on it was the Trailblazers and the Raptors. 43% of the bets, 47% of the cash have come in on the Trailblazers. It's gone from +2 to -5. Wasn't size 5.5. It came back to 5. I was going to take it. We saw earlier in the season, the Trailblazers against the Eastern Conference were dominant. They had like 9 straight wins, 10 straight wins. They've kind of fallen back into regression mode. They did just pick up a win at Atlanta, 127-113. They had lost a boatload of games before that. And they're not covering when they lose. So your boomer bust. Brandon Ingram should be out. Grady Dick should be out for this game as well for the Raptors. So I think that's why the line has moved in the direction it has. Jeremy Grant's out or projected out for the Blazers. I haven't seen a final number yet, but and then Robert Williams, Anthony Simons. I would lean to the Blazers, but I can't get involved with it. Here's the one that, we had mentioned. I saw you guys talked about in the chat. Grizzlies and the Heat. Line open at -3.5. It's moved to -5.5. Yet you have 57% of the cash, 57% of the bets, and 61% of the cash on the Heat. It's gone from 3.5 to 5.5. That's called a reverse line movement. And you got 225.5 on a total. It's gone up 1 point. 1 point tick up, 89% of the bets, 87% of the cash coming in there. We saw the Heat. Big game the other night. Is this a big game for them as well? They did get a victory. A wrong team favored victory, 10.5 points against them Celtics. The Celtics got smashed. They did not smash. And the Heat have been winning. All we do is win. Golden State, Atlanta, at the road, Philadelphia, Washington, and Boston. The Grizzlies, on the other hand, all they do is lose. Golden State, Boston, Lakers, OKC. However, that's murderers, bro. You played Utah, you beat the shit out of them. 140-103 at Utah. We've been talking about how bad Utah is at home all season. Then you play the best team in the West. I don't know. You decide where you want to rank these teams. OKC, Lakers, Boston, and Golden State. Now the Heat have been winning like crazy. Here's the thing. Is this a step up or a step down in class for the Memphis Grizzlies? That's how you have to ask yourself for this game. That's how you have to evaluate what you're going to do with this game. I know the Heat have been winning, but that doesn't mean it's a step up in class for the Grizzlies. To me, if anything, that says Miami should come in there and get their bottoms beaten. Baby seal treatment here. And then you look at the line makers, and they're seeing 4 straight losses for the Grizzlies. And yet they're gone from 3.5 to 5.5. Maybe it's because the bookmakers know when you're a road favorite on a 3 or more game losing streak, you win and you cover. 112 to 56. It's won 4 in a row. 7-3 in its last 10. There's a reason they're a favorite. It's the Grizzly spot for me. I'm going to lay the 5.5 with these boys, despite how stupid Morant is. You're on the tracks, Miami, and the train is coming through. Yeah. But then why are they a favorite? That's what I want to know. That's what I'm going to pay to find out. Miami's got to show me. I mean, they're begging you to take Miami. Miami's done nothing but win. They're beating everybody. They just outright Boston. Here's 5.5 points. They're at home. That's what that tells me. Here's 5.5. Here it is. Take these 5.5. There's no way. There's no way Miami loses this game. Memphis? Really? They've been losing. I think this is Bucks playing tricks on everybody out there. They're not going to play tricks on me. Tricks are for kids, not for bookmaking. We'll see. We'll see, though. I was way off on that second leg of the back-to-back situation with the Bulls the other day. So we'll see. Golden State and the Lakers popping off here. I have no interest in the other games. This one's moving. -1.5 is the current number. A little bit of reverse movement. 54% of the bets, 56% of the cash on the Lakers. It's gone from -2 to -1.5. And the money line's got a correlated movement here. 68% of the bets, 80% of the cash on the money line for the Lakers. I'm going to tell you this. I took the Lakers. I don't care about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's been a piece of shit everywhere he's gone. And I get that he's been a step up and everyone got excited and they shuffled some things around and Draymond's back and inspired and Chef Curry's out there cooking and all the... I get it. But you got Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves. I mean, these guys are fired up. That team has a center advantage, so it's kind of going to be last guy that has the ball wins the game, in my estimation. And I think the Lakers at home are the team that's going to get it done. You know, they had their stumbles. They had a lengthy little road trip. They kind of were mediocre on it. They came back home. They played Houston. So that's the first game back after a long road trip, and they found a way to win. They've had 3 days off since then, and they're coming out there to face Golden State. Golden State, on the other hand, a long-ass road trip. On the road, 6 straight? And you got your squad probable. Jimmy Butler, probable. Draymond Green, probable. Buddy Hield, probable. I'm good with that. I wish Jared Vanderbilt was playing because I take his points under. You guys know how I roll. I take some Jared Vanderbilt points under. So I'm going to take the Lakers. That's it. Nothing too spectacular on that one. Yes, please do smash that thumbs up button. But I'll take that money line with the Lakers here. That'll be a fun one. This will be a late nighter. We'll be watching some PFL. The main event, by the way, for the PFL starts at 10 p.m. I got 2 games left for you guys. We'll get this thing rolling. We'll put the show on the road. I don't have a graphic for the first one. I'll just tell you guys right off the gate. I'm taking Arizona in the first 5. I like the first 5 plus a half. It was like -125 earlier today. This thing's gotten steamboat. Steaming, beaming. We look at the totals on this game, or we look at the line movement and the cash flow. The Diamondbacks open as -102s. They've taken a lot of heat coming in on the Yankees here. Yankees tax, maybe 73% of the bets and 65% of the cash coming in on the Yankees. Now you got Arizona. -102 has moved to +126. So that is reverse line movement. However, a little bit of a differential. 8-point differential of bets versus cash in favor of the sharper bettors coming in on Arizona. Now, arguably, they're just buying the number. Cookie Carrasco. And we got ourselves a little Kelly action in the house here to pop this thing off. And that's where I want to get involved with is just the first 5. I said this on the onset of the show. I agree with the commenter that said, they think Arizona wins the first half. And, then when the squad comes through on the back end and shuts everybody down. Look, Cookie Carrasco is a pile. By the way, I meant to tell you guys, with the Lakers, when the Lakers are favored of 3.5 or less, they're 10-0 on the season. Perfect 10-0. Just for a little validation if you're looking for a trend on that Lakers game. 10-0 is good enough for me. Cookie Carrasco. The Cookie Monster. Scrub ball. Home Cookie. Does find his way to get the job done sometimes. I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's a tough game. Like I said, I like the +0.5 The over is the problem there. The runs get flying here. Cookie Carrasco, home starts when the line is less than a minus 210 and the total's greater or equal to a 7. 49 and 2. The average total is 8.3 on the games. The average runs are 11.6. It's Cookie that's leaking. Mer's leaking. It's Cookie. So I'll take Arizona in the first 5. I think they can hang around. We'll see. Kelly V says Lakers at home. Hot. 16 and 19 wins. I like that too. Well, there's a trend I can get behind, KV. KV, I give you your flowers. I said, hey, number one commenter. I don't know if you were here to hear that or not, but number one commenter on our YouTube channel always takes the time to hit the thumbs up and makes a comment, which means the world to us. So I just want to say thank you again in case you missed it earlier. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal in the world of YouTube, and you are consistent with every video that we put out there. I really appreciate it. It only takes a second to make a comment, and she does it every single time. I love that. Appreciate that. Thank you. Reds and Brewers. We'll pop the game off. We'll put a bow on this show. This line has moved up from 7.5 to 8, and you do have 96% of the bets and 96% of the cash. Brewers are oscillating here. They started at minus 118. They're down to minus 114. Positive differential coming in on the Reds, 47% of the bets and 63% of the cash coming in on the Reds. That number hasn't moved. Nasty Nestor puked his guts all over the place his last start out there. He's got a 36 ERA, and he took it out, clearly. Nick Lodolo will start for the Cincinnati Reds. He's got himself a 3-0 ERA, and he's got himself a 1-0 record on the season. Impressive because it's one of the 2 wins that the Cincinnati Reds have encountered on the season. The early season, that be it, though. And look, Ellie De La Cruz likes that torpedo bat. We talked about this the other day live. Man, since he put that bat in his hands, he has not disappointed. And of course, I like some Terang. I like some Hoskins. That's probably it on the Brewer side of things here. And that's kind of the way I'm looking to approach this thing here. I think both these pitchers, despite the 3 ERA, and it sounds pretty good, they want to be sub 3. And clearly, on the other side of things here, look, I got to take the under in this game. This is a spot, specifically with the unders. The Brewers have back-to-back unders against that high-flying KC team that put up 11 runs that first game. The Reds have back-to-back unders against that Texas Rangers team. Back-to-back shutouts, by the way, because they're not scoring. When you won with a low score in extra innings, the under smashes, 352 to 242. Baseball's love the sample bases that we get with baseball. 7 in a row have smashed to the under, and the Brewers and Reds playoff spot here, or play spot for me. I'm going to take the under in this game. That's going to be the way we put a bow on the show. I got the under 8. I think it was minus 105. Widely available to close the shop up here, you guys. We made it. Whew. What we get? I think we covered like 20 games. At least. Feels like at least. We covered almost every single NHL game to some degree. I got a lot of action laid out there. We haven't even talked about the PFL yet. Shout out to my guy Big Scott for giving us his PFL action. Appreciate Big Scott and Old E gifting sports money memberships. Want to thank all you guys for coming in here, giving us your feedback, your time, your best bets, your support. Win or lose, we always try to come in here and be prepared every single day. 7:45 is 40 young minutes away from a Gonna have a lot of fun tonight, you guys. I hope we see you there. Be a ton of fun. Gonna get this cash. Gonna have the fellas ready to go. We'll see MMA Jeff. We'll see Subhuman Gaucho. We'll see Keith each every stride. We'll see Ramon Scott running so hot. We'll see you name it. We're gonna see razor sharp picks. Who knows who else is gonna pop in there and give us their time and attention and their best bets. But I'll be there on behalf of the Sports Money crew. Make sure you check out Ramon Scott running so hot every morning, 7 days a week, 9 a.m. You got to start your day off with the morning steam, baby. Appreciate you guys. Thank you all. Love you so much. Hit the thumbs up on the way out the door, and we'll see you again